time to talk about ceremonies 105 and 106 with the noise of the inverter, because we have Starlink. So 105 was horrible. First one back here with this dieta with Maestro Antenor to get clear of this witch's hex, which caused this horrible thing, which has been with me for about 4 months. But I think it's starting to heal now. It needed ohe tree resin, which is really sticky, and then I also put some on this infection from the flu, from like a flu that I had for about 4 days, and then that infected from shaving and got a bit here. But I've stopped using it now. I'm just using agua florida, and it seems to be clearing up. I think I'm short of vitamins. That's what the problem is with just being on this dieta for 5 weeks now, the same food every day. So I don't think it's not got all the nutrients. It's fine for a dieta, but it's not got all the nutrients. But I'm feeling really good today. I've started another dieta, which is Chuchuasha, which is my second time. I first did that with Maestro Jairo 2 years ago at Lighthouse. So it'll be interesting when we have a ceremony next. Don't know when, possibly. And ask Maestro to introduce me to the actual spirit, because my levels are nearly back to normal after ceremony 106, but we'll talk about that in a minute, because that was a lovely ceremony. But 105 was fucking horrible. The visions were dark. I was still in a very much a state of anxiety because of the witch hex, and just the worry that it was too strong, and lack of faith that it wasn't going to get healed and things like that. So but obviously Papa Julio kind of scared me as well at one point, when he said to Maestro, get the ohe on it, rapido. And I thought, and it's happened before where I've thought I've heard him say things that weren't actually the case. And of course, in my anxiety and panic, and with the effect of the hex affecting your mind in ceremony, it makes you hear things that aren't necessarily true, especially with my, not being able to understand the Spanish clearly. But I could have sworn, that he said, or his mind's, about to collapse. That's the way I felt. I thought at one point in that ceremony, I thought because I'm so run down and so weighed down, weighed down with this damn thing. It's been, a heavy burden for 4 months. It's been a heavy weight on my mind, and it was really difficult in that ceremony. I thought I just can't do this anymore. I just got to get out of this whole game. But of course, it's not the ayahuasca or the shamanism side of things. It's nothing to do with that. It's dark energy, which Bobin Sana told me ages ago. And Mama reiterated in ceremony 106. I had a lovely conversation with her, because 106 was beautiful, but 105, fuck, it was about 2 hours of solid anxiety in my stomach. It was hell. And that was, for me, it was just like, I'm walking away. But of course you can't walk away, and there's no need to. It's all dark energy, and then, once you get your cleaning happening again, and you see the nice side of it again, and you get connected to Mama. Because the trouble with strong dark energies like hexes, strong demons, dark energy attacks, is they block the medicine, while up until the actual cleaning process is done enough so that you can reconnect. And this is the problem with it, because sometimes you're the only one that knows its severity through the medicine, through ayahuasca. And then it takes maybe the first cleaning, or at least the first vomiting, to clean you enough so that you can actually connect. And even then, after I vomited the first time in ceremony 105, Mama ayahuasca wasn't normal. And one time I thought I was talking to Bobin Sana, and she came up to me all smiles, and went to kiss me in my vision. But then as she kissed me, she face changed, and she bit me in the neck. And of course I just, fuck's sake, this is, I don't know whether that's the Dark Sister or just the effect of the witch interfering with the communication process and hijacking it. And this is the sort of shit that can happen. and I just was so run down, and I couldn't cope with it. You know, it was just like, well, obviously I did cope with it, but it was still difficult and a horrible ceremony, and it seemed to go on forever. I was just hurt, but it was a really serious cleaning because it was really needed. And Darlin was here with us as well, so it was just me, Maestro, and Darlin. Oh no, and Maestro Hyro was here as well because they're working on his house here. So he was here as well, Maestro's brother. So he sang a couple of Icaros, but mainly Maestro Antinor was controlling the ceremony. And then when Papa Julio arrived, gave his usual advice, but I really didn't like that when I heard him say, you know, you've got to get this gone. And then for a moment I actually spoke with Papa Julio in that ceremony, and I explained, I said, this is a massive weight on my mind, because it's just making me think that this witch is that powerful that, you know, I'm not going to get cleaned. And he did make me feel better. He said, yeah, Steve, she is a very powerful witch, but she's not as powerful as me. It was like, oh fuck, I needed to hear that, you know. So that was nice, because he doesn't talk to me that much, Papa Julio, because he talks through Antinor anyway, which sometimes I don't want to hear. Mostly I do, but after that ceremony, when he was sounded like almost panicking and trying to tell Maestro, get the ohe on that wound, it's causing him a lot of mental stress, and his mind's really under pressure, and get it gone as soon as possible, because otherwise his mind's going. I could have sworn he said his mind's going to collapse, and that's the way I felt. But that was probably just the influence of the medicine at the time and the effect of the hex. So a really unpleasant ceremony. So I vomited, I think, 2 or 3 times in that ceremony, and I felt fucking terrible. It was like going back to like the first of my first 9 ceremonies. Just that level, and of course after so many of them, and then getting above them, and then dropping back to that level because of my own stupidity. And this witch hex has been with me for over a year, 14 months. I think it was about June last year in Thailand that I encountered that person. So it's all my fault, you know. But 106 was much nicer a couple of nights ago. Was it yesterday, day before? So yeah, 2 nights ago. It's just me and Maestro, and it was unexpected. I've come to the end of the Arbuta dieta, 3 days, and I've just started. I did a video this morning of Maestro shaving the tree into small pieces to make my drink, and I've had that, so I've got to drink that for the next 3 days. But I've had it before. It's not a bad tasting drink at all. So that's pretty good. I'm marking the time because we've got Starlink here. I don't want to make big videos where I put this 1-to-1, so hopefully it's a lot smaller. Try and keep it to 10 minutes to upload while we've got power. Everything seems to be working now. It's bizarre. But anyway, 106. It was really pleasant, and Maestro was just on form. His vocals were really good, and he sang different Icaros, and it was just perfect for what I needed, because I was dreading doing another ceremony. I said to Maestro, I said, oh God, I've got a bit of fear about doing another ceremony, because I just don't want to go through 105 again. You know, I just can't cope with it at the moment, because I felt really drained. Because this hex has been sucking since this appeared, and she's turned up the gas. Probably once I'd made the decision that, fuck, what is this? And then after a month or so, I've got to go and get this looked at. Then she's turned the gas up with my skin, which is why my hand was like it was, which got cleared 3 weeks ago. That initial state, Papa Julio gave me a massive cleaning 4 weeks ago, which cleared all of the initial skin issues, but except for the remains of this initial thing, which is where her power seems to reside. And of course, psychologically, I'm thinking, while that's there, she's still got a link. And contaminating me. But after this ceremony, 106, I mean, I felt a lot better obviously the next day after 105, but after 106 it was a perfect cleaning. It was really quite a nice ceremony. In fact, it was a great ceremony, because halfway through I didn't have to feel, I just allowed the process to be ready when it's ready, and cleaned you when it's ready, time to vomit, instead of feeling, oh, I want to get this energy out and forcing it. I just kept waiting and then it naturally happened anyway. And Maestro sang some fantastic Icaros, and I could just tell by the sort of spirits that it was just exactly the right trees that he was calling just to remove this. And then after the first vomit, possibly, or maybe before, I had this really interesting vision. I was like in a cane casket, like a diamond-shaped cane casket in two halves, like diamond shape, pyramid on top, pyramid on the bottom. But next thing, but I was inside it in the dark. And next thing, the top got pulled open, and this fucking huge tree-like spirit, may have been like a tree because they're like big transformers or big warrior types, but to me in the vision it was a Viking, huge Viking, kind of looking down on me as he pulled the top of this casket. He was just looking down on me. He didn't say anything at first. I'm just in this kind of casket, like as if I was trapped in something. And he just pulled the top off, and the next thing he was banging, like something with no noise, just banging his arms on both sides. And then this voice just said, "The chains of the witch are now broken." And it was very much a Viking kind of, but very tall, very huge, like the tree spirit. So I'm not really sure, but for me, I'm pretty sure it was a Viking. Can't really remember too much what he looked like. I've got a memory of him wearing like a Viking helmet with the horns. Not the armour that the trees wear, or the last time I've seen the tree spirits, when they're huge warriors, massive, tall as trees, but huge like transformers, but human, but with like steel chain mail and steel armour all over them. That's why you use them for protection, and do dietas at shamanic level for protection against any attacks, because they're the strongest, some of the strongest, well, about the strongest spirits in the forest. So after that, and then once, there was another vomit a bit later, and with just the cleaning, as the cleaning progressed, I could feel my spirit return and it was just getting normal strength. So I was really tired before the ceremony. I wanted to fall asleep before the ceremony. I was drained. But as my spirit returned, because she's been sucking on, this witch has been that's what they do. They suck on your own spiritual energy, and you've got nothing left for your own life. And you feel really drained. And of course, over 4 months, it's been slowly sapping me. And I knew in ceremony 105, I was just at the end, felt just so completely drained. And Mama had said that 4 weeks ago. She said that, the witch is, you're going to need to rest the 3 weeks that Maestro is working in Lighthouse, because, you're drained, your spiritual battery is drained. And then, so as I got cleaner and cleaner, I just started to come alive again, and start to feel a kind of bit of shamanistic kind of things coming back, and be able to sort of calm my own body and stuff like that. And then later on, I think maybe I'd vomited the third time, and unexpectedly, I was just feeling really good at this point, no stomach issues or anything. It's really come back alive. And this is the same ayahuasca that we did in 105, and it's a strange one. Darlin made it when Maestro ran out of ayahuasca at the Lighthouse. Darlin had to make a small batch, so it was just one bottle, but it's really horrible. It fucking taste is foul, but it's really strong, and it creeps up on you. It's a slow burner. It kind of comes on slowly and slowly, and then gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And of course, it really hit Maestro as well. And he was saying, Steve, Maestro, he's saying, Señor, ¿cómo estás? And he said, fuerte. I said, yeah, it's getting stronger. And he said, sí, fuerte, muy grande, maldición. So he was flying as well, it's like, and he vomited a little bit. And so it was really strong for him. Not quite so strong for me, because of the hex was blocking it at first, but as it got cleaned, it started to come through, and then it was just strong but pleasant, because I was feeling better. And so that was great. And then Maestro, I hadn't thought about it pre-ceremony. Well, before the ceremony, I thought, I won't be singing my Icaro tonight, even if he asks. I just haven't got the energy. But then he did. He said, Steve, do you want to sing your Icaro? I'm like, fuck it, why not? And what was really interesting was I sang this Icaro a little bit different. I sang the main part, but with the AI version of the change for Inna and John and Joe who've heard it. So I sang the second part and then went back into the first part to kind of make it more of a song. So it's got no words. It's just sounds, really. But what was really interesting, when I was singing it 6 months ago or so, 7 months ago when I first met Antonor, in one of our Bobinsana songs. For the first time I had these two kind of head shapes, but they didn't have faces, they were just like two bulbous shapes that stuck their heads through the wall of the maloca, one right next to my head, and they were pinkish colour. And they were first time I heard the plants sing along with Maestro's song. Could see one really close to my head and another one about 6 feet away, sticking their head through the maloca of Lighthouse. And they were singing in really weird voices. Well, I had exactly the same thing, but it wasn't the Bobinsana. They were yellowy orange colour, and they were kind of Viking voices singing on. That's the impression I got as I was singing it, and I was like, because one was one side and one was the other, and I was like hearing these other voices as I was singing my Icaro as well. Because, and on the ayahuasca that night, the sound's really good. Maestro's guitar was really reverberant, and the tones, you could hear the bassy tones booming, and like the effects of sound. So it was just a wonderful ceremony. So that was great, because I sang that, and Papa Julio was here listening as well. Maestro had already called him, and they'd had a conversation, but most of it was telepathic or muttered really quietly for me, which suited me, because I thought, I don't want to hear Papa Julio say anything in case it's bad news, like I thought last time. While this witch still has some effect, because she makes things negative. But then after that, once I was clean after the first vomit, Mama Ayahuasca was talking to me, and it was just pure Mama Ayahuasca, and she was lovely. We had a fantastic conversation. She was reiterated a lot of old stuff, and just saying, you learned a really big lesson. This is the equivalent lesson for alcohol about women in the future, because you've learned this has been a nasty hex, and it's been a major lesson for you, because it's been a lot to get rid of, but and it's still going to clear. When your skin's completely clear and you know you're clear, which it will be, it's all about faith, Steve, because that's your only defense. And this witch hex brought you down so low again, you lost your faith, and you just want to walk away, but you can't, because it's the only defense you're going to have. And of course I don't want to anyway, because when the ceremony came good again and I got myself back, it's wonderful. I mean, I'll still be going away and stuff, and I won't be doing the shamanism thing at the moment, but I'm not writing it off again. Just act it as and when it suits. Mama said, you've got to go and do some work. So get your life sorted in the real world. Get that done. Do the teaching, whatever. Get yourself an apartment. Get some sense of solidity and foundation, and then everything else should fall into place after. And then, depending on what happens after, you can just come back when you want, or you need to. So it was a wonderful conversation. And then Bobinsana didn't want to talk to me at first, and it was because she was so upset. It was incredible. She said, finally she did sort of come around and appeared. I just apologised again for my stupidity. She said, Steve, it's been horrible for me, she said, because you know what it's like when you love somebody, and to see you suffer the way you have been has been horrible for me. But then she was just lovely afterwards, and a few more lessons, just really nice chat with her. But Mama was with me most of the night, even after the ceremony, still chatting to Mama, and she was just wonderful. Just a wonderful conversation for a good couple of hours or more. And then probably packed up at 11:30, because we started at 7, because there was only the two of us. Soon, because Maestro was tired too, and I certainly was. So we started early, 7 o'clock, just as it got dark. Started the ceremony. It was done by 11:30, but I still didn't get to sleep till 2 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, it's all good. Look like things are starting to heal since I've actually stopped putting the tree stuff on. It didn't seem to work too well. Certainly not for this. It's still been working on that, but we're going to change it today. Maestro's going to find another tree. It's a chuchuasha again, I think, but he's going to make a powder of it and put that on the wound. And then I'm on the dieta as well for the next 3 days. So maybe we'll have a ceremony when I need to close, because I was closed for the other one on the last ceremony, 106. It's closed for, what's it called? Oh, hey. No, Arbuta. Closed for Arbuta, but opened for Chuchuasha. But because the weather yesterday was pissing down all day, Maestro didn't go, because half an hour on the boat he had to go first thing this morning up the river to find the Chuchuasha tree, and then cut the branch. I'll show you the video. That it should already be up before this one. I'll put it up first. And of course I have to do these videos again, because I'm writing my book. I've got about think 5 or 6 chapters in, but been delayed because we had so much problem with all the tech gear. It's just been bonkers. And we were all joking about the witch hex because I was sat next to the generator yesterday and it fucking thing wouldn't start. We've been joking about it. And when the bulbs wouldn't light because there was electrical fault, I joked when Hyro was here and I just went whoa, like that to the bulb and it was on and it went off. But it was intermittent. Both of them were fucked, but nevertheless it was funny at the time. And then yesterday, sitting next to the generator, Maestro couldn't start it. He said, "You go over there by the kitchen. It's energy here, de la bruja." And we've got so much mileage out of these bruja jokes. So we have a laugh here with the boys because Darling's here at the moment, and Nimia says, "Darling, we're all making the most of the first real day of fucking internet. While the batteries are fully charged because it's just not been working at all. The generator just wouldn't connect properly. Well, it was connected, but it just wouldn't fucking charge the batteries, and the fucking inverter wasn't working right. I'm sure, it was witch energies because I used to have that effect on computers with all my bad energies. Shit just wouldn't work for me. Ask Joe Moore. He knows. I'd find bugs in software that just nobody else would. Just things would always go wrong and fucking not work properly. I'm sure it's all the bad energies. So, but it's all seemed, as I'm getting cleaner, it's just coincidental. Yeah, stuff started working. So this morning I fired the gear up. Panels are working fine, charging the battery. Then the generator started, and that was charging it as well, which it didn't 2 days ago. It just wasn't. Just the unit wasn't making the right connections. Fucking pain in the ass. So anyway, it's been fun. Just frustrating though, because it's a major hassle because to send this thing back in the box, it's got to go to Herrera to a tech, just to be sure. Send it to a tech there who's actually done Hyro's house, because Hyro just happens to have exactly the same model. I didn't know that when I bought it. So the guy who did his tech stuff should know if the numbers all correlate. Because they've been bouncing up and down all over the place, not making any sense. 1 minute it's charging at 17 amps, then down to 2, and they're just fucking not making any sense. But it seems stable now. So I don't know what the fuck all that was about. So the only thing you can put it down to is bad energies, Because like Maestro said, everything is energies. Everything in the spirit world is energies. It's all different energies, good and bad energies. And every time you're negative, no matter what level of negativity, it's negative energy, it's dark energy. And this is what Mama Ayahuasca was stressing in her conversation. She said, Steve, when this happens, she said, you cannot let this witch beat you. You cannot let any form of dark energy at your level. You've got to fight it. And if your moods get that low or you're feeling like the dark energy, you've got to go and do some rape and meditate and clear it. Get in the shower, change, like water's really good. Because she also said about, because every morning you have a bath, if you're not feeling great in the morning, as soon as you go down in the river and just wash, it just refreshes you, but your energies change. And Mama Ayahuasca said, of course, Steve, it's my river in my garden. It's got my energies flowing through it, which will clean you as well on a spiritual, energetic level. So it was a wonderful conversation, So it's just wonderful to have both her and Bob Insana back. Because what can happen is when you're tainted with dark energy, that dark energy hijacks the communication channel with Mama Ayahuasca, and you can think you're talking to Mama Ayahuasca, but she's like more brusque or even downright negative and horrible. And of course that's not the real Mama Ayahuasca. It's not the light side of Mama Ayahuasca. You get in the dark side because the witch or the hex or the demon or whatever you've got on board is having that effect on you. So it's all fascinating stuff, which I knew all that, but you just forget because you get in the real world and then you have a bad mood and you just think, it's never fucking like, it's never the same in the real world as when you're doing ayahuasca and on dietas and in that environment, all clean and feeling good. So, but you have to take that away and just. She said, look, you've got to fight the witch because otherwise, are you going to let the witch beat you? Because once she sucks you into, and she said in your case, you've had such a lifetime of negativity. It's so, all the circuits in your brain are so habitually wired that you are really susceptible to falling back into that. And you've got to be aware of it and see it for what it is. It's dark energy and it's affecting your mood and you must combat it. Because otherwise you'll just fall back into negativity and everything else. And then, of course, you've opened the door, and then they'll just build the dark energies, and whatever dark forces are attacking you, you're just going to build on it. You go away, you meditate, you rapé, meditate, you repeat, do all your arcana. He said, you're doing all that fine, you're doing everything right. Every time you do your stretch exercises in the morning and rattling through those 4 different orations for the different spirits. So that's all great. So, but it's your own mind. You've got to have the strength of mind now. And she also said, Steve, look, what you've done in the last 4 years is incredible. Your level of suffering, you've suffered so much, and not just financially paid for it, but your suffering that you've gone through. All right, yes, through you couldn't done anything about the familial witch hex, but the 2, one in Peru and one in Thailand, was your own fault from your weakness, and you've paid a high price for that, and you've suffered so much in your cleaning of a lifetime of cleaning. But the level you're at now, it can't be taken away from you, Steve. You are a little shaman, So don't walk away and just try to think, forget it. Because why would you? You're turning your back on what you've achieved at such a massive cost. So it was a wonderful conversation. So anyway, it's 26 minutes. I'll get this. I'll get the maestro doing the bark, and then I'll get this one up.